Welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope everybody's having an absolutely spectacular happy Halloween. I'm repping the Creepin' It Real shirt that I bought recently at the spooky place that pops up everywhere, Spirit Halloween, for those of you who don't know. So today, I'm actually going to be discussing my experience with World of Warcraft. Now, I did want to do something a little different, like getting outside, because I haven't been outside, because I've been playing this game, right? And it takes forever. On the real, I have actually, maintained a good, healthy lifestyle still. I regularly get exercise. I go out for a walk every day, pretty much, for about 30 minutes to an hour, and I go to the gym every single day. And sometimes I also do like a long run or something. Anyways, that's not what this video is about. So, without further ado. So, first thing on the agenda. World of Warcraft is a subscription-based game. So, like you basically pay for the rights to play this game. So, I paid for 1 month in exactly 1 month. Um, so that being said, me being the kind of guy I am, just like with my gym memberships, I want to get the most out of it, right? So, that works out great for something like the gym. It's a healthy thing to do. With World of Warcraft, eh, not as much. However, with that being said, um, I did have a very positive time with World of Warcraft, and I want to go over the things that I really like about the game. So first and foremost, um, for me, I actually just got back from deployment, very recently, uh, about 2 months ago, actually. So I got really into the Warcraft series. I was playing the RTSs because I just wanted something different than what I'm usually playing, and I'm not a big RTS guy. However, what I found is that I really, really got into Warcraft 3 with Arthas and like his whole like becoming. It's gonna be spoilers, but you probably already know. Him going from like Prince, and Paladin to like the huge downfall and him becoming the Lich King. Awesome. I fell in love with it immediately. And then like I started seeing the advertisements, and occasionally advertisements do work for World of Warcraft and such. And I started looking into it. I was like, this is a game that I have always had a fascination with. Like I've always thought it was cool. But my thing is, I have always had this rule against playing MMOs. Right? Hold on, I got a phone call. All right, so where was I? Anyways, so yeah, so basically, started. I wanted to play WoW, essentially. So I finally decided I'm just gonna subscribe for 1 month, and it's like $15 a month or something. It's not. It's cheaper than Game Passes now, right? So worst case scenario, I'm out 15 bucks, and I have my answer whether I liked it or not. So the way I did it, I wanted to come into the game as fresh as possible, but also like with the most traditional experience. So I got on, I did a lot of research before I even committed to playing the game, right? Because, as I was gonna say, MMOs are a huge commitment, and I prefer to do a lot of stuff in my real life, and like, I usually don't have time to get at MMOs is what I'm saying, because I'm usually just too busy for it. But it just so happens the stars aligned, and it was a good time for me to try it out. So, I decided, I did a lot of research if I was gonna commit to playing this game. So I went into Classic WoW. Played a human warrior. His, I did the role play. His backstory. He was basically like a farmer, and he like worked in the mines as well. And he enlisted in the Stormwind Army, whatever. And then I played up until level 10 in Classic WoW. I did have a good time. Um, I do think that some of the people are breathing a little bit too much nostalgia, because it's definitely not nearly as fun as retail is, in my opinion. I can see why some people would like it, but it is very slow, and it's something that you have to like be patient with. I did really enjoy it, though, I will say. But hopping, and I'll preface this too. I don't think I would have enjoyed retail WoW as much as I did had I not played Classic WoW. But since I played Classic WoW and then I went into retail WoW, I had a phenomenal time. All right. Um. So yeah, then I moved into retail WoW. I started at Exiles Reach for retail because I had already done LO Forest and Classic. But then I went back and I did all the LO Forest stuff. I went down. I went into Westfall, of course, which is I thought was a very cool zone. And then I went uh, through all kinds of different ones. I think it was Duskwood. That was like my favorite. And I went through like pretty much all of the southern part of the Eastern Kingdoms quest lines with my paladin. I got him to max level. We went to Outland, and then I went to Northrend, and then I started up a new character. I started a Worgen, which I guess you could call him an alt, but for my purposes, I just wanted my character to be a werewolf, and Worgens are cool, so I started a Worgen. I got him all the way to level 60, so technically I maxed two characters, but I understand that level 70 is the new max without midnight, or excuse me, without the war within. Um, so I did all the cataclysm stuff, all the dungeons. I did all the dungeons and all of the raids from classic all the way through cataclysm. And then after that, what I did, well, in addition to on the side, I also made a night elf, which was a legitimate alt. She was a huntress, and I got her to level 40. I also did the armor quests. You get like once you hit level 50, you get like racial specific armor. I did think the Worgen armor was cool, but the human was a way better value. It was like the same length mission. I thought it was easier, and you got three armor sets, which I thought were all three were cooler. It's the same armor set, but like three different colors. Um, so then moving into the next thing, right? So about the first 2 weeks I spent on nothing but like classic content, and then I moved in. I really only spent, I want to say, about a week between the Burning Crusade and uh, the Wrath of the Lich King, which I can see why people say the Wrath of the Lich King and Burning Crusade are like the peak era for WoW. I do think the Burning Crusade had the most like just straight up aura, kind of reminded me of playing Doom. But the Lich King obviously put a conclusion to the whole reason I got into the game, and I'm sure the reason a lot of people got into it back in the day. So I really enjoyed, taking down Arthas, and then I honestly, I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not, but I really enjoyed Cataclysm. I didn't really like the Deathwing spine part too much, but like actually taking Deathwing down and that whole like story arc I thought was phenomenal. Um, so I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I played three classes. I played a human paladin, a worgen warrior, and I played a night elf huntress. I also did experiment a little bit with in classic WoW with a undead warlock, a forsaken warlock, which I thought was really cool. Um, but yeah, so I didn't mess around too much with that though. But yeah, so I did a lot in my month. I feel like I got a lot more out of my month than probably a lot of people do because I pretty much know life to this game for a month. And now I'll get into the reason why I think WoW is awesome and why it worked out. So for my particular situation, like I said, stars kind of had to align for me to even get into this game. One of those things that had to align, the government shut down, right? So me working for the government, a lot of my benefits and my pay are directly tied to that. So I really haven't had a lot else to do. So like I said, I continue a healthy lifestyle, etc. But for the most part, I've had a lot of free time, and it's something I wanted to try. So World of Warcraft has actually helped me through this time period of not being able to, really go to school or do any of the other stuff that I've been working on. So it's provided me a place of, comfort and peace, and it's been a great time. Now, I can 100% see how somebody can get super invested in this game and spend, I see how people have spent, 20 years playing this game. It's awesome. It basically has an infinite game loop. But on that also, a lot of the game loop, as much as I was playing it, this is probably a result of me playing so much. I was starting to get very burnt out towards the end. In fact, I'm very happy I'm done playing right now because like it's all the same kind of game loop, right? You go somewhere, you talk to somebody, hey, kill this many people, pick up these items while you're doing it, maybe pick up something else while you're doing that. And then like you'll do that a few times. You'll just basically it's like a rotation of different things. And then you'll finally come to the end. You'll come up to it'll have like it'll show like a little monster or like like a boss creature. You go kill that creature. You might do that a couple times, like with a couple different ones, and then a lot of times it'll lead to a dungeon. At least in like the later content, like Cataclysm. Um, so that was cool, but like I said, after a while, you get kind of burnt out doing it. But yeah, so I think a month of World of Warcraft subscription versus Game Pass, which is now, to receive all of the Game Pass benefits, $30 a month. It's twice as expensive, and while you do technically get more, you technically get more out of Game Pass. If I'm gonna play a game, like, a lot of the times if you're playing a game, you're probably focused on that one game anyway. So if you're gonna enjoy a game, World of Warcraft is half the price, and if you're just gonna focus on a game, then like why not play something that's half the price and equally as enjoyable? So I had a great time. I would actually recommend this game to anybody, but just be mindful of it. It does have definitely like an addictive game loop. You have to definitely like manage your time. I mean, you can get lost playing this game for hours. So, but all in all, yeah, I pretty much spent the last week on Cataclysm content. And like I said, I had to pretty much no life this to get all of that content done. Hold on, there's a barking dog. I kind of lost my train of thought, but um, like I'm not gonna pay for the most recent expansion. Midnight's about to come out, so I feel like that would be kind of a waste. And you're basically, whenever they release a new expansion, all of the previous expansions essentially come with it, or with the whole game as just a whole subscription, which I think is very neat and pretty consumer friendly. So I respect that and appreciate it. But overall, great game. I really, like I said, I enjoyed it a lot. I would recommend it to anybody. Just make sure that you can handle, your own time management and still maintain like a healthy life, or a life outside of it at all, because MMOs can definitely take up a lot of time. It could be like a whole second life. So that's the whole reason I didn't really get into them in the first place. I'm only playing for that 1 month. I will be returning subscriber at some point. I will resubscribe. I've already decided I want to try the Horde next time I play. And eventually, I'll want to try out the newer content. But I had my mindset that I wanted to get to Cataclysm in the month, and I managed to meet my goal. Now, for those of you who are curious of how much time I actually put into it in this month, the numbers are kind of a lot. So, at least in my opinion. So, I put in over 90 hours just on my human paladin, whom is a level 70. I put in over 50 on my level 40 worgen, and I think the last time I crunched the numbers, I had put in over like 30 on my level 60 worgen, and I think I put it over like a little over 30 hours on my level 40 huntress. So you do the math, it's quite a lot of hours. Uh, but that's it, everyone. So hope you all have a happy Halloween, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.